welcome to ZZ Talk with your hosts, Zino
and Zeus.
This is a show with two guys who talk a lot about everything, including sports, entertainment, and a heavy dose of politics. However, today it's going to be just sports and entertainment. We decided that there's going to be a lot to talk about in news and politics, especially after this big trial that's going on with the George Floyd and Derek Chauvin case.
What trial?
Yeah, that one.
If there's nobody who knows about this trial, then you're not listening to the show.
Yeah, it's being watched internationally, and we have a feeling there's going to be a lot to talk about after it's done. So we want to give that the amount of time that it's due. So instead, today, it's no news, no politics. There's going to be a little bit of news, but that's because it's interwoven with our sports section. But it's going to be mostly entertainment and sports. And it's actually quite timely because we want to spend a lot of time talking about one of our artists from when we were growing up that passed away recently, and just give him a good bit of a tribute. And because of that, we're dedicating our top 5 to him. And of course, we're talking about DMX. Zeus, tell me how you felt when you learned that he was in his last days and eventually when he passed.
So when I heard that he overdosed, he had a heart attack. Although there's some stories saying that actually he didn't overdose, he actually had an effect with the COVID vaccine, but that might have just been conspiracy. So I don't know if that's 100% certain.
I know his representation came out and said that it wasn't an overdose. I don't know if they're the ones that put out the COVID vaccine thing, but they said
and it's not saying that the COVID vaccine is the reason why. It's just, the vaccine does get you sick. So they're saying that caused him to have a heart attack. So, but we do know it was a heart attack that happened. So when I heard that part, they're saying he's in a coma. I'm thinking, okay, it's just an induced coma. He's going to pull out. Then they said it's not looking good. Talk about him being, then they said that he has no brain activity. When I heard that, I was like, yo, man, look, I believe in miracles. DMX helped me believe in miracles because he crazy enough, the first thing I thought about when I heard this, I was like, yo, this guy is the reason why I know that I'm not lost as a Christian, because this man's over here been talking about the grimiest stuff ever. But then he has a song that any Christian can pop into their radio, and it's a gospel song, he has a gospel song and everything. So man, this dude walked me through some stuff in my life spiritually, and he's honestly he's responsible for me being best friends with the man who I'm best friends with. Those are the two things that me and him said we always connected on was DMX and South Park when we were growing up. So obviously we're aging ourselves, right? But this is like 98.
Yeah.
DMX and South Park is how we grew like close to each other and became best friends. Now he's my brother. So it hit me hard when I heard it, man. I'm not gonna lie, it hit me hard, and it still hits me hard thinking about it sometimes. Just because, as I told Zino in pre-production, his death to me is very reminiscent of when Michael Jackson died, with just how hard it's hitting. Because so Michael Jackson growing up with us, for us, Michael Jackson was always there, right? You know what I mean? Like he was there before we were alive. So he's always been there. He's like a prince. He's like, you know what I'm saying? He's just a staple. He was as legendary as Elvis, and Elvis was already dead. He was just, he was as legendary as him and icon. That's what DMX was to a lot of people at our age growing up. I know that a lot of people that I'm follow on Twitter, a lot of them were distraught, upset about it. And it was just, it hit a lot of us it just hit me hard. It hit me really hard. I'm glad that we're dedicating a good portion of it. We've done a few of these unfortunate, rest in peace segments for people, but this is going to be the first one that we actually dedicate a good segment of it, because as I'm sure you're going to tell us now how it affected you, it did affect us a lot because, man, this guy was an icon growing up when we were kids. We grew up with him. Yeah. So it hit us hard, It hit me definitely.
So Zeus and I talked about it earlier because I know that we had spoken about DMX on the show before, and that was I went back and looked at it just recently. It's episode 9. Where we were talking about Ice Cube's endorsement, supposed endorsement of the president at the time. And we ended up doing a top 5 on our favorite rappers. And Zeus brought up DMX, and there was a glee on my face because I was like, "Oh my god, how could I have forgotten DMX?" And then we start talking about DMX. Weirdly enough, as far as like how it hit me, I was really at peace with it, and I think it's because it's sort of like the whole. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a big Jeopardy fan, and when Alex Trebek passed away, I was sad, but I wasn't gutted because I think we had time to say goodbye. Like he came out with his stage 4 pancreatic cancer diagnosis, and so it almost been preparing us for it. DMX, it wasn't that long between when he was hospitalized and when he died, but I think because of the early scares that he might be dead, I think I had already gotten myself into a mindset like, okay, it's coming. Best to remember all the best parts about him, which is why I also I don't like when someone dies, someone who struggled with substance abuse and all that stuff, and that becomes the story. They're like, oh well, he did a lot of drugs, he did this and that. It's like, yeah, but can we not make that the story? Can we talk about all the positives, all the joy he brought to people? People might not think about that when it comes to like hip hop and R&B and all that stuff, but there was a lot of joy DMX brought to me.
A lot of good stories have come up about him. I don't know if you've read some. I have a few that I could talk about. I don't want to interrupt you, so you can finish. But there's a lot of good stories I've come up with about him.
So yeah, and after we do our top 5, we want to spend some time talking about his impact and his legacy, so we can talk about those stories there. But anyway, the point being, I like when they finally said that he had officially passed away and his organs had failed and all that stuff. I wasn't as racked with sadness as I had been a week prior or a few days prior when he had initially slipped into it. Mm-hmm. I was more like, okay, he's at peace now. Let me think about all the good stuff about DMX. And during the segment where we pay tribute to him, we're going to talk about this 99 Woodstock clip that I was just telling Zeus about that I saw on Instagram. If I can find a link to it on YouTube or whatever, I'm going to put it in our YouTube clip for this episode. But yeah, man, DMX, 50 years old. He leaves behind a lot of kids, if I'm not mistaken.
15.
Yeah, something like that.
And amazingly, they said that you would think the way that the rumor mills about DMX, how he supposedly he was close to all his kids. Mm-hmm. And all of his baby mothers, like they were all together at his bedside, like, and there wasn't real, because I think they said something. I read somewhere that they said that he made sure to not let them beef with each other. Like he was like, I'm not gonna let my baby mother beef with my other baby mother, because first I'm assuming just the way he was, the way he grew up without having his parents being, his mother and father both being neglectful. He kind of like, he was like, yeah, look, y'all gonna have all different types of mothers. Y'all gonna get along with each other. So that was big
family, cherish each other,
Yeah, and one thing I will say about his passing away, I take peace, and I hope a lot of his fans will take peace, is this man was ready for it, not because he was ready to die, but because he honestly believed that there was something greater after this. Mm-hmm. So for him, I'm pretty sure this is just the beginning for him.
Yeah, there was a clip I saw from an interview that I think either was late last year or earlier this year, like maybe January, where and it was kind of unprompted. He said that if I died today, and then everyone was like, whoa, don't talk about that. It's like, no, listen. If I died today, living the life that I've lived, I would be okay, because I feel like I've lived a good life. So I know no one believes that they want to die and all that stuff, and I don't believe that he wanted to die, but I hope he really did believe that sentiment, that he has lived a good life and he's left behind a good legacy, because I know you and I both think he did. So so yeah, okay, DMX passed away at age 50, and because of that, we're gonna do our top 5